Throughout American history, one region has played a powerful, complex, and sometimes controversial role in shaping the nation's leadership: the American South. From Virginia plantations to Texas ranches, southern states have produced some of the most influential, beloved, and divisive presidents. This is the story of the rise of Southern presidents in American history. The South's influence began at the very birth of the nation. 4 of the first 5 U.S. presidents were Virginians: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and James Monroe. They were not just leaders, they were architects of the American Republic. Washington led the Continental Army and became the nation's first president. Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Madison is known as the father of the Constitution, and Monroe gave us the Monroe Doctrine. Their plantation roots and Enlightenment ideals helped define early American values: freedom, self-government, and expansion. But these ideals were complicated by their ties to slavery. As the country expanded westward, Southern leaders continued to rise. Andrew Jackson from Tennessee, a fierce populist and war hero, became president in 1829. He was the first president, not from the Eastern elite, a voice of the common white man. But Jackson also signed the Indian Removal Act, leading to the Trail of Tears. His legacy, like many Southern leaders, is a mix of democratic expansion and human cost. Following Jackson came others like James K. Polk of Tennessee, who added more territory to the U.S. than any other president. Through the Mexican-American War, the Civil War changed everything. Southern leadership faced its greatest crisis. Jefferson Davis, president of the Confederacy, and many Southern politicians fought to preserve slavery. After the war, the South was defeated, and for decades its political power weakened. Yet one Southern figure rose from the ashes: Andrew Johnson, a Southerner loyal to the Union, who became president after Lincoln's assassination. His presidency was marred by conflict with Congress and resistance to civil rights for freed slaves. In the 20th century, Southern presidents began to rise again, but with new messages. Lyndon B. Johnson of Texas became president after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Though born in the segregated South, he pushed for sweeping civil rights legislation, signing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. But he was also deeply tied to the Vietnam War, which overshadowed much of his domestic progress. Jimmy Carter, a humble peanut farmer from Georgia, became president in 1977. Known for his honesty and human rights focus, Carter's presidency faced economic challenges, but left a lasting moral legacy. Though Ronald Reagan was from California, he championed a conservative message that resonated deeply in the South: low taxes, strong defense, and traditional values. This marked a political realignment where the South, once a Democratic stronghold, became the heartland of Republican power. George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush, both with strong Texas roots, carried this torch into the White House, promoting free market policies and global leadership. Southern presidents have left a complex legacy. They have built empires, fought wars, signed historic laws, and challenged the nation's conscience. From Washington to Biden's challengers, the South continues to produce strong political voices, both unifying and polarizing. Their rise reflects America's story, full of contradiction, ambition, idealism, and struggle. The rise of Southern presidents is not just a regional tale, it's a national journey, a journey through power, progress, and pain. And it continues, shaping the future of the United States, one election at a time. Subscribe, buzz, like, comment. Which Southern president do you find most fascinating?